Jim Palmer was an evangelical megachurch pastor for many years. He writes, "Eventually, I could no longer teach Christian doctrine with a good conscience, and realized this teaching was not truly changing people's lives. And so I walked away from the whole enchilada. What makes a religion toxic, and why does it prevent real change?" Palmer shares 14 insights about mainstream religious belief systems that can help you shift to greater vitality. Palmer said, "Speaking for myself and my personal experience, I was not able to see or admit these things to myself." He said that he got ministry because he wanted to make a difference and help people, and he said that he relied upon his belief system to achieve this. He came to realize that his religious beliefs were hurting, not helping people. He offers this list of 14 things to help you see how a belief system might be holding you back, to help you move from fear to changing from a place of love. Numbers 10 through 14 were life-changing for me, so be sure to check them out. Number 1, toxic religion is rooted in fear, especially fear about the afterlife. It leverages the false doctrine of hell to win converts and demand holiness. The fear of God's disapproval, rejection, abandonment, and punishment is another hallmark of toxic religion. Number 2, the clergy have no innate authority. Being designated as a leader in a church or having a theological degree does not imbue a person with special divine authority or superiority. The terms anointed, called, or chosen, or titles such as pastor, priest, bishop, elder, evangelist, or apostle, do not give any authority on an individual or group. The Wizard of Oz is a man from Kansas. Insight number 3, we hold sacred what we are taught to hold sacred, which is why what is sacred to one community is not sacred to another. And that's okay. We need to realize what we were programmed to believe and adjust. 4. The stories in the sacred books aren't history, and were they meant to be? The authors of these books weren't historians, but writers of fiction to promote dogma. They promoted their own ideas. Reading sacred texts as history may yield some nuggets of the past, but the real gold is in seeing these stories as myths and parables, and trying to understand the possible meanings these parables and myths may hold as you read any book like Lord of the Rings. 5. Prayer doesn't work the way you think it does. You can't change God's mind through obedience, devotion, or groveling. What does work is imagining a being who loves you perfectly and agreeing with this being's perfect and highest will for you, in love. Huge difference. 6. Anything you claim to know about God, even the notion that there is a God, is most likely a projection of your psyche. What you say about God, what God cares about, who God rewards, and who God punishes, says nothing about God and everything about you and your beliefs. If you believe in an unconditionally loving God, you probably value unconditional love. If you believe in a God who divides people into chosen and not chosen, believers and infidels, saved and damned, high caste or low caste, etc., you are likely someone who divides people into in-groups and out-groups with you and your group as the quintessential in-group. God may or may not exist, but your idea of God mirrors yourself and your values. 7. Nobody is born Jewish, Muslim, Hindu, Catholic, Protestant, etc. People are born human and are conditioned by narratives of race, religion, gender, nationality, etc., which end up working against the natural love we started with. 8. Theology isn't the free search for truth, but a defense of an already held position. All theological reasoning is circular, inevitably proving the truth of its own presupposition. 9. Becoming more religious cannot save you. Religion is a human invention that reflects the best and worst of humanity. Becoming more religious will allow us to perpetuate compassion and cruelty in the name of religion. Because religion always carries the danger of fanaticism. 10. Becoming less religious cannot save us. What? Being against religion can become its own form of fanaticism. If the universe is love at its core and we're hating a religion, aren't we in the same situation as a religious person? Secular societies that actively suppress religion have proven no more just or compassionate than religious societies that suppress secularism or free thought. This is because neither religion nor the lack of religion solely nullifies our human potential to act out of ego, greed, fear, hostility, and hatred. The key is whether we focus on fear or love. Choose love. 11. A healthy religion helps us own and integrate the shadow side of human nature for the good of person and planet, something few clergy are trained to do. Clergy are trained to promote the religion they represent. They are apologists, not liberators. Suppose you want to be more just, compassionate, and loving. In that case, you must do the personal work within yourself and free yourself from the conditions that lock you into injustice, cruelty, and hate. The way to do this is to surface the beliefs that keep you away from love and wisdom. You must start to feed the part of you that already loves and is wise. 12. Religious leaders claim that their interpretation of their sacred books should be universally accepted. Religious leaders often say, "My authority is the Bible." It would be more accurate for them to say, "My authority is what they taught me at seminary, what the Bible means." The Bible isn't consistent in what it says. The Bible has flaws. When religious leaders shove their correct theology down people's throats, it creates more suffering than it solves. 13. If your livelihood depends on the success of your church, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that you will see Christianity as participation in church structures and programs. Healthy Christian living is a decentralized reality or way of life, not a centralized or program-dependent phenomenon. Church attendance, tithing, membership, service, and devoted participation might look like the hallmarks of Christian maturity, when living from love is what is. And finally, 20. You can guide your spiritual path from the inside out without being told what to do. You have the ability, capacity, tools, and skills to guide and direct your life meaningfully, ethically, and effectively. Through the use of your fundamental human abilities, such as critical thinking, empathy, reason, conscience, and intuition, you can capably lead your life. You can cultivate a spirituality that doesn't require you to be powerless, weak, and lacking, but one that empowers you towards strength, vitality, wholeness, and the fulfillment of your highest possibilities. We thank Jim Palmer for his wisdom and courage in sharing these 14 insights. At the end of the day, we either serve fear or love. Let's choose love. Thanks for joining us at the Change Capability Institute today.